Susie, thank you very much for joining us on day 2 of the Offshore Wind Conference in Glasgow. How has it been for you so far?
Oh, it's been brilliant. It's just a great chance at the start of 2025 to get together as an industry. And we acknowledge, I think we've got a big year ahead. There's some challenges, but there's a real positivity about getting them done and really knowing what they are. So it was a great first day yesterday.
I thought so too, and some of the messages that were coming out of the conference were truly inspiring from the government, as well as Jürgen from OGV Energy, in terms of what that might mean in terms of investment. So I'd just like to start with Bluefloat, if you can kind of give us an overview of your organisation and also the projects that you're working with both in the UK and wider afield.
Great, so the Bluefloat Energy-Nadara Partnership is really exciting because we've got a pipeline of projects that we're able to make sure that we navigate well here in the UK. So our lead project is the Bellrock project, and then we have the Broadshore project and Stromar. Now Bellrock, Broadshore and Stromar are Scottish Wind projects, and then Sinclair and Scarabin are smaller projects which form part of the Broadshore hub, originated out of the INTOG process, so innovation aspects.
Excellent. What kind of capacity are we looking at if you add them together?
So we've got a 3.7 gigawatt pipeline here, which is brilliant because fundamentally we're going to have a huge need and a huge demand for supply chain and ports, and pulling that together and really within our own portfolio, but actually also with other developers. We talk a lot about being collaborative, and we've really got a drive to make sure we do that, because floating feels like a really important part of the story for Scotland. But also we heard today for 2030 and beyond.
Yeah, big targets there. I think that was Chris this morning on his plenary that was talking about those targets. And on those key challenges, where do you see them for Bluefloat Nadara? Skills, resources, and also the kind of time frame on the consent.
I think there's some major gating issues that we need to address before we even get to what I would suggest are secondary or more manageable or more plannable issues around skills. So those gating issues for me are really grid. We need to be very clear about the mode and the timing of connection for each and every project. We've got that in most of our projects. Actually, we still rely on that for Bellrock, our lead project, and that's absolutely fundamental to maintaining the great confidence that our funders have in us. That's JP Morgan and the Quantum Group, but also allowing us to plan and give the supply chain the certainty that they really need to know when we're coming, what we're going to be needing when, and line up accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we speak to some of those supply chain companies, that's their number one issue, is that visibility and transparency of what's happening and when, as far as that. And it's really hard. And even if you're top of the food chain, in a lot of cases, you're still waiting for the government to make their mind up on consent and certain parameters and criteria that they have to fulfill. So more broadly looking at the kind of the industry from a global lens, what impact do you think that the recent inauguration of President Trump will have on the industry?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's deeply disappointing because it doesn't recognise climate change, the biggest challenge of our time. So beyond that disappointment, I think there is an opportunity for you, and I believe the UK have a responsibility to be clear about our commitment based on the very strong pipeline and potential and all the work done to get to the 14 gigawatts we've already got installed. So actually what it might mean is that there's supply chain of which we've always said we're constrained. We'll have a more targeted focus and more capacity for the UK. So perhaps a silver lining in there, but on a macro picture, I hope that changes.
So there might in the short term be a wider bandwidth that you can tap into of resources?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, and then finally, I suppose my question is about the future for your organisation. What can we expect in 2025 and in the next 2 to 3 years?
We can expect a firm up and a clarity to our supply chain, more survey work that will help us inform the consents, which are so crucial. Bellrock will be going in for consent this year, with the other projects to follow. So I think it's clear pathway, setting us up well to deliver. We want certainty of grid from Bellrock, so we're eagerly awaiting that. And then, working as a team to further mature our activities. We've got a fantastic office in Edinburgh, which has a real buzz about it. So I'm really excited for the year ahead.
Excellent. Well, I'm feeling your passion. I wish you all of the best for the future in 2025 and for the rest of the conference. So thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.